Welcome inside of the Bustin' X throwing range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Daniel alongside Bobby Bradford here for another episode of Battle Axe. It is week number 4 here in the Winter League, and it all leads up to a double elimination postseason tournament after 7 weeks of regular season competition. If you're new to the program, before we get things started here this week, let's go over the rules. All of the rings moving inward are worth 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 points. The red dot is for the bullseye. That's worth 6 points. You can only score on each bullseye one time in each half of each game. So once you score on the center bullseye, if you want to get 6 points, you have to hit one of those outer bullseyes. And then those small blue dots on the outermost ring, those are what's called the kill shot. You can go for it at any point during a match. If you hit it, you get 8 points. But if you miss it, you get nothing. It's a very high risk, high reward play, and you can get 2 kill shots per match. Here's what everyone's competing for, Bobby.
Yeah, this is the Bustin' Axe League World Championship Cup. It is currently held by Eric the Scope Shizzle, and we've seen a lot of competitors putting together some really great matches in weeks leading up to week number 4 here. We've seen a lot of great scores, a lot of competitors being really aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes and those kill shots as well. So Eric has definitely got some competitors that want to take this baby home, and as you can see, Joey, it's truly something to behold.
It shimmers and it shines. The trophy that will be up for grabs in just a few weeks once we get the double elimination postseason tournament underway. Let's take a look at the league standings. After 3 weeks of competition, it's Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw leading the way. He's undefeated, averaging more than 47 points per game.
Yeah, Matt, no surprise, is at the top of the leaderboard at an impressive 12-0. But right behind him, Joey, I want you to look and see 557 points here for Leroy Kedley. So he is nipping at the heels of Matt Bradshaw, followed by Cody Yoakum, Justin Smith, Zach Hinkle, Jill Kedley, Eric Shizzle, Ann Welp, Michelle Fremelt, and Bob Yoakum round out the top 10.
That is a great top 10. Everyone just itching to get their hands on that trophy. Well, without further ado, let's get the competition started here in week number 4. First up, it's going to be Cody Yoakum, and he will be taking on Bob Yoakum. It's a father-son matchup here.
Yeah, familiar matchup we've seen here in Battle Axe. Bob coming in at 6-6. Cody at an impressive 11-1 in third place in this league. Cody starts it off with a 5, Bob with a 4, missing a little bit high.
Cody Yoakum has really evolved into one of the best throwers in this league. He'd love to make a deep run and win that belt for the first time.
Yeah, it would be the first time that Cody Yoakum would win the belt or the cup. And as you can see here, Joey, he's thrown 2 consecutive 5s, so starting the night off very nicely is Cody Yoakum. But we know Bob is a competitor. He's not going to take it easy on Cody Yoakum. But for Bob, it's about finding the middle of that board, being consistent, finding that bullseye and staying ahead of your opponent. But unfortunately for him, that looks like it's going to be another 4. Michelle Fremelt's going to get a look.
So it is a 4 for Bob Yoakum. Meanwhile, another 5 for Cody Yoakum. He extends his lead to 2. Bob Yoakum, we call him Bullseye Bob. Once he starts hitting them, he can hit a lot of them and get hot in a hurry.
Looks like that's going to be the first bullseye of the night for both Bob and Cody. So right on cue, Bob Yoakum strikes up a bullseye. But Cody is not intimidated. He throws one as well. And for Cody, we've seen him be really aggressive going for those outside bullseyes. So we'll see here. And oh, wow. A very uncharacteristic drop. Cody being aggressive going for that outside bullseye. Very close to hitting. It's going to be a close call.
So a 3 for Cody Yoakum. Devastating drop for Bob Yoakum. They'll switch sides, get ready to go. Bob Yoakum going to try and regroup here for the second half and chip away at that deficit.
Yeah, fortunately for Bob, Cody did not hit that bullseye, although he was very close. So that was a 3 there for Cody Yoakum. So not too much damage done, but that's definitely something we haven't seen from Bob Yoakum in quite some time, was a drop. So fortunately for him, he's able to put some positive points on the board. Unfortunately, though, for him, he falls down another point, 23-29, going into the 7th throw.
Cody Yoakum going for win number 12 on the season. That one gets away from him a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he was holding on to the axe just a little bit too long. Initially ruled a 4 there for Bob Yoakum, but as they got a closer look, it looks like that's going to be a 5. So Bob able to get that point back. He's down by 5, Joey. He's just got to be aggressive. He's got to find that bullseye and hope for Cody to make a mistake here.
Cody Yoakum not going to make a mistake right there. Couple of fives from both the Yoakums. Still a 5-point advantage for Cody. 2 throws to go. Wonder if Bob's considering going for a kill shot.
Yeah, at this point, you might want to be waiting to see what Cody does here, see if he can make up some points. But unfortunately for Bob, that's another 4 there, and Cody able to get another point. So Cody is up by 6. I would like to see Bob be aggressive going for it. And right on cue, there's the call.
And Cody Yoakum says, I'll go up with you, Dad.
Nice.
Here we go. So if Cody does not hit it and his dad does, then his dad would get the win. Ooh. Just off the mark.
He is just off the mark. Let's see if Cody can hit it. And he is further off the mark. So there'll be a couple zeros there for the 10th throw.
Cody Yoakum getting another win here.
Yeah, you're right.
43-37 over Bob Yoakum.
Yeah, so Cody Yoakum improves his record to an impressive 12-1 with a nice score of 43. He did have that 3 on his 5th throw and only 1 bullseye on his scorecard, but we saw him be aggressive going for those outside bullseyes, and he was really able to create some separation with from Bob Yoakum. And then for Bob, there's too many 4s on the scorecard. He did have that devastating, uncharacteristic drop that we saw on the 5th throw, and only 1 bullseye as well for him on his scorecard. He does fall to 6 and 7, but we know what kind of competitor Bob Yoakum is. When he's living in that 5 and 6 ring, he's a really dangerous, consistent competitor and someone that we've seen make deep runs in the tournament. So hopefully he can put that drop behind him and have better matches here in the future.
Well, we are just getting the competition started here in week number 4. Let's get right to our next match. It's going to be Jill Kedley. She'll be taking on Zach Hinkle.
So Jill Kedley coming in at 8 and 4, Zach at 6 and 6. 2 competitors that are really improving their game, really moving in the right direction, putting up some impressive scores. This should be a great matchup.
And we are underway. Nice start there for Zach Hinkle and a great answer from Jill Kedley. We'll see if that's a bullseye. Cody Yoakum coming to get a closer look at Hinkle's shot as well.
Yeah, that's going to be close there for Zach. He's hoping it's going to be popping through on the bottom part of that blade. We'll see what Cody's ruling is.
So Hinkle gets a 4. He's getting a closer look. We'll see if he wants a second opinion. He's going to take the 4, and it's a 5 for Jill Kedley to give her an early 1-point advantage.
Yeah, and you can see as Zach was taking out that axe from the board, it wasn't popping through on that 5 ring, but Zach is hoping to get at least a 5 here, if not a bullseye.
Nice answer there from Zach Hinkle. A bullseye gives him the lead.
Yeah, 2 pretty consistent throws here from Zach to get the night started. And then for Jill, she's just got to focus up on the middle of the board. She, like Cody Yoakum, has been aggressive going for those outside bullseyes and just holding on to the axe a little bit too long. You can see the disappointment there from Jill.
So Jill Kedley heading in the wrong direction here. That's a 3, and it's a 5 for Zach Hinkle. He's now up by 3.
Yeah, Zach's playing the middle of the board. It looks like he's going to be content to do that in the position he's in right now, and he's throwing very consistently.
Well, a much better throw there from Jill Kedley. That's a 4 and a 5 from Hinkle. He's up by 4 now.
Yeah, with the way that Jill's throwing, she's not really putting any pressure on Zach Hinkle to be adventurous and go for those outside bullseyes. So the way Zach's throwing, he's just going to be happy to play that middle of the board.
5
and happy to trade points at least, if not gain some more points here on Jill Kedley going into the turn.
Zach Hinkle will take a 4-point advantage into the second half here against Jill Kedley. They've switched sides, and we are ready to go here for the second half. We'll see if Jill Kedley can make this one interesting.
It looks like that could be a bullseye there for Jill, and we'll see if it's popping through on the bottom side, and it is there for Zach Hinkle.
A hot start for Kedley and Hinkle here in the second half. They can no longer score 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see how aggressive Jill Kedley gets here, trailing by 4.
Another nice throw there by Zach. It looks like that's going to be a 5, and we have seen Jill be very aggressive going for those kill shots, and we've seen her win some games with the kill shot, so she is comfortable with that. And for her right now, she just has to keep the score within a reasonable amount that she can go for that kill shot and come away with the victory.
Yeah, trailing by 6 here. This is almost the danger zone. She can't lose any more ground here. Yeah. She's got to hope to gain a little ground here before this one gets out of hand.
Yeah, this has been a really consistent round here for Zach and a very inconsistent round there for Jill Kedley. Very erratic axe there with a 2.
Well, this is kill shot time, and indeed, Jill Kedley's going to be going up for the kill shot.
right.
She can get back in this one if she can hit it right here with 2 throws still to go.
Yeah, very aggressive call in the 9th throw here, going for the kill shot, trying to reverse the trend here and put some pressure on Zach. And look like that's going to be a 5 there for Zach. And Jill Kedley is off the mark.
And a 5.
Hit one of those outer bullseyes.
She did hit one of those outer bullseyes. If only you could take back your kill shot call, right, Joey?
I was just kidding. So Zach Hinkle has put this one away. He's got a commanding lead, 46-32. We'll see if he can finish with a strong axe here on his final throw and get into the 50s.
We did see Jill call for a kill shot here, if for nothing less than to practice here. And I did not see a call there from Zach, so looks like he's going to play the middle of the board. And Jill Kedley, very, very close. We'll have to see.
I think she got the bottom of that blue dot there. Cody Yoakum getting a close look. Ooh, that is as close as you can get. Now I see a little wood, I think. Oh, she got it. All righty. Well, what a finish for Jill Kedley. And what a round for Zach Hinkle. He gets the win, 50-40.
Yeah, Jill Kedley, it doesn't matter how much of the blue it's hitting on both part of that blade, but it was hitting just enough for Cody to make that call, so she does finish with a score of 40. Again, being aggressive, going for those kill shots on the 9th and 10th throw, I think are something that's going to be really beneficial to Jill Kedley come tournament time. But unfortunately for her, though, we see 2 threes on her 3rd and her 7th throw, and a devastating 2 on her 8th throw, which really put her behind the 8 ball, versus a very consistent Zach Hinkle here to get the night started. Zach improves his record to 7-6 with a really impressive score of 50. And as you can see, although his score is bookended by a couple 4s, everything else is 5s and 6s. And I can tell you, if Zach Hinkle can throw like that consistently down the stretch here and into the tournament, he can definitely make some waves, because those are very high pressure throws and it puts you in a position that really separates you from your competitors. And I know he wants to take home that cup.
Well, we've got a lot more Battle Axe still to come here in week number 4. We'll bring it to you straight ahead. Stay tuned to MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe. I'm Joey Daniel alongside Bobby Bradford here at the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. It's week number 4 of a 7-week regular season. We're just getting the competition started. It's off to a great start, and we've got a lot of great matchups coming to you straight ahead. Let's get right to it. Our next matchup is going to put Michelle Frummelt against Ann Welp.
Yeah, so Michelle Frummelt coming in at 4-8. And coming in at 6-6, 2 really consistent competitors. We've seen some wobbly axes from Michelle in the past, and we've seen Ann have some really nice progression, living more so in that 4, 5, and 6 ring.
4-4.
But both competitors start the night off here with a couple 4s.
Yeah, and we've seen the same kind of progression from Frummelt as well. She struggled early on in her Battle Axe career with drops, but she's really got putting those in the rearview mirror, and she's one of the best in this league now.
Yeah, she's holding on to the axis a little bit too long there, though. And that's kind of like the drop we saw with Bob Yoakum, where the head of that axe hits the wood and unable to stick in with the blade. So definitely want to avoid that. And then for Ann, it's all about finding that consistent release point. That's another nice consistent throw. And then for Ann, her axe has to hit straight into the wood. We've seen her kind of hit a little diagonally into the wood, which can cause some drops as well. But Ann with 3 nice throws to get the night started here for her. She has a 13-11 lead going into the 4th throw.
So that was a 4 there for Michelle Frummelt. Keeps her within 2.
Definitely needs a high-pressure throw here, and then it looks like that's going to be a bullseye there for Michelle, and a 4, possibly a 5 there for Ann Welp, but it's popping through on the bottom part of the blade. And it is ruled a 5.
So a great throw from Michelle Frummelt. That gets her within 1.
Yeah, and then for Ann Welp, she's just in the driver's seat here. It's really important for her to keep putting some positive points on the board.
5-4.
And it looks like that's going to be a 4 there and a 5 there for Ann Welp. So Michelle able to tie this thing up at 22.
Michelle Frummelt dialed in right now in her last couple of throws. We'll see if she can bring that momentum into the second half, and we'll see how Ann Welp responds here. We'll see if she can get into rhythm.
5-5.
And a nice throw by both competitors. Looks like that's going to be a couple 5s. Oh, but Looks like Michelle is challenging Ann's throw. So initially ruled a 5, and Ann is not contesting. She concedes the point. So 27-26 going into the 7th throw.
So just like that, with 3 throws, Michelle Frummelt has turned a deficit into the advantage. And
Wow.
that axe really getting away from Ann Welp. Frummelt taking advantage now with a 4, extending her lead to 3.
Yeah, just Ann was in such a good position after the first 3 or 4 throws. Really was in a place to put some separation between her and Michelle. Unfortunately for her, she's left the door open for Michelle not only to come back in, but take the lead 35-32 after the 8th throw.
Michelle Frummelt happy to trade points here with Ann Welp the rest of this one. It's a 3-point game. Welp needs to get hot in a hurry.
I do like that Ann is waiting for Michelle to throw. She knows that she threw a 4. So she is within kill shot territory here. We'll see if Ann's going to be aggressive. We've seen her in the last couple of weeks get aggressive going for that kill shot, and I think we just saw the call there, Joey.
Ann Welp going up. So Michelle Frummelt needs to hit a 4 to seal it.
She hits a 5. And Ann Welp is off the mark, but love the call, though, Joey.
Absolutely. Michelle Frummelt getting the win here. Win number 5 on the season, 44-36 over Ann Welp.
Yeah, so Ann Welp will fall to 6 and 7. She had a really nice start to this match. Unfortunately for her, she did have that devastating 2 on her 7th throw. She left the door open for Michelle Frummelt to come in and take the victory here in the first match for both these competitors. But I do like Ann's approach down the stretch here. She was waiting for Michelle to throw, kind of seeing what Michelle was throwing so she can kind of counter, and she was aggressive going for that kill shot on the 10th throw. Unfortunately for her, she was off the mark and falls to 6 and 7. And then for Michelle, she kind of started off a little rocky, but then she righted the ship with a nice bullseye there on her 4th throw. And then 4s and 5s from that point on, she really created the separation against Ann Welp and was able to come out with this victory 44-36 to improve her record to 5 and 8. But the best thing, Joey, no drops by both competitors.
Next up, we've got the defending champion, Eric the Scope Shizzle, taking on Justin Smith. This should be a good one.
Yeah, first time seeing the Scope and Justin Smith both coming in at 7 and 5. 2 really consistent throwers. You can see Justin is cool, calm, and collected. He's got the axe flip dialed in.
4 and
It looks
4.
like that's going to be a 4 there for Justin. And initially ruled a 4 there for Eric the Scope, but I think there from the camera we can see that's a 5, and Eric definitely agrees. Just waiting for the official ruling before Eric takes the axe out.
So Cody Yoakum coming in to
5.
get his eyes on that one, and it is a 5. So that gives Eric the Scope the early advantage here over Justin Smith.
Just like the NFL, we have to wait for New York sometimes, but if it's a quick call, it's a quick call. It looks like that's going to be another 4. The axe kind of sailing on Justin Smith to get the night started. And a consistent,
bullseye.
beautiful throw there by Eric the Scope.
Well, they don't call him the Scope for nothing. A bullseye there from the defending champion. That extends his lead to 3. Eric the Scope still throwing with his left hand this season.
Yeah, that's the more familiar throw we've seen there from Eric. A really nice flush bullseye. 2 really consistent throws to get the night started. Eric has kind of struggled with going for those outside bullseyes and being consistent. We've seen some lower scores from him throughout the first few weeks, which has led to his 7 and 5 record. But he is up 15-12 going into the 4th throw here. And then for Justin, he's lived in the middle of that board. He's lived in that 5 and 6 ring. Unfortunately for him, he is stuck in the vortex right now. Let's see if he can get out of it. And same throw.
See if Eric the Scope can continue to take advantage.
4 and 4.
Unfortunately for him, he is off the mark, but I think it's important to note, Joey, that Eric is staying in the middle of that board here. So maybe, week 4, the tournament is only a few weeks away. If he's just starting to kind of change his approach, starting to play that consistent middle of the board, or if he's just kind of letting the match dictate his strategy.
5, Justin.
Yeah, there's all sorts of different strategies you can implement. Obviously, the points are what will set the postseason field, so perhaps the Scope is trying to get as many points as he can and avoid those high-risk, high-reward shots where if you miss those outside bullseyes, you just get a 3, and then your score pays a price.
Yeah, Eric is highly competitive, so maybe looking at where he's at in the rankings, he's none too pleased with it, so he's just returning to the middle of the board, trying to accumulate as many points as he can down the stretch. But don't look now, but Justin Smith has worked his way back into this game. 7th throw, he's down 26-27.
Back-to-back fives. We've got a nail-biter all of a sudden. And the seeding is very important because in a double elimination tournament, it's crucial to stay
Correct.
out of that loser's bracket as long as possible.
Yes.
Otherwise, you've got a long way to go to work your way back to the championship.
Yeah, you would love to have a bye in the first round, in the A bracket.
4, Justin.
But yeah, Joe, to your point, it's just so important. We've seen it time and time again. This is season 12 of Battle Axe. We've seen it where staying in the A bracket is such a valuable thing for every competitor.
Wait.
And the longer you can stay in it,
Up by
the
one.
easier it is to get back to that championship game if you do have to go down to the B bracket.
Yeah, there's just so many great competitors in this league. And once you go down to the B bracket, it's win or go home.
Yes.
And even if you're playing really well, you're going to run into somebody who's also playing well. And
Yeah, maybe
that's why you got to stay out of that B bracket.
Absolutely. Maybe they figured out the kinks in their throw. For Eric right now, he is stuck in the vortex, 35 to 34. You can see him going up for the kill shot on the ninth throw. We'll see if he can put some separation from Justin Smith, but you never want to face a player when they get it going. And the B
0
bracket
Eric.
really puts you back up against the wall, and you can really figure something out.
And with that said, we've certainly seen players come out of the B bracket
Correct.
and win it all. So
Absolutely.
it can be done. It's just a lot harder.
Exactly. So Eric was off the mark there on his kill shot. He called for it again. He's down 38 to 35. He needs his kill shot and Justin to hit a 4 or less, but Justin will not acquiesce. Looks like that's going to be a nice bullseye there for him. And
miss and a
we'll have to get a
bullseye.
closer look but ruled a miss there.
All right, Justin takes that.
So Justin
44 to
Smith with a
35.
comeback win here against Eric the Scope, 44 to 35.
Yeah, Eric started this matchup so nicely with that nice 5 and that flush bullseye there on his second throw. But then as you can see there from the third throw through the 8th, he was just stuck in the vortex and he could not get out of it. He wasn't aggressive going for those outside bullseyes. He was playing the middle of that board, and he just left the door open for Justin Smith to come back and take this victory. Something very uncharacteristic from Eric the Scope. So he will fall to 7-6 with a score of 35. Still characteristically going for those kill shots on the 9th and 10th throw that he said he was going to do all season. But unfortunately for him, this is not kind of the performance that he'd like to see. But then for Justin Smith, he improves his record to 8-5, and credit to him. He had some really high pressure throws. He was able to take advantage of Eric's mistakes, and a nice score of 44 to advance his night.
4 matches down, 4 more still to come here in week number 4. We'll bring them to you straight ahead. Stay tuned for more Battle Axe. Welcome back to Battle Axe. Here, as always, from the Bussin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque, I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby the Blade Bradford. It's been an exciting start to this week number 4, Bobby.
Oh, it's been tremendous. We've seen a lot of great matchups so far, and excited for the remaining matches that we have. But as you can see, Joey, we have a lot of very talented throwers, talented competitors, and I can't wait for this next matchup.
Yeah, we've got one of the heavy hitters coming up. It's Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley. He'll be taking on Nancy Kramer.
And Nancy Kramer coming into week number 4 at 2-10, and Leroy with the inverse at 10-2, really putting together a tremendous season, challenging Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw
6-4.
for that number 1 spot.
Yeah, Kedley was the runner-up last season. He's brought that momentum right into this season. He's just a few points off of Bradshaw in the standings, and after 3 weeks of competition, that is a remarkable feat.
Absolutely. It's one of those, it's truly a testament to what work Leroy has put in to his game and the progress that he's been able to make. But after 2 throws, it's 10-9. Leroy with a 1-point advantage going into the third throw. But to your point, yeah, Joey, that we haven't seen a lot of competitors consistently stay on pace with Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. And for him to be where he is going into week 4, setting himself up nicely to possibly have the number 1 seed if he can overtake the Magic Man.
So Kedley with a 4.
No, it looks like
We'll
that's
see if that's a 4 or a 5 for Kramer. It's a 4 as well, so she's unable to take advantage of the 4 from Kedley. That would have tied it up.
yeah. Nancy, knowing how important that 1 point would be, getting a close look, but electing not to get a second opinion.
4,
Another
6.
nice. That's a nice throw there by Nancy Kramer. And another 4 there for Leroy Kedley. So
Throw number
19-18 going into the 5th throw.
Nancy's up by 1.
Nancy Kramer with the lead now. Leroy stuck in the vortex.
Well, what I've seen from Nancy Kramer in the progression of her throw is that she has a nice release point now, a really consistent release point. We've seen an erratic axe from her in the past, but with that double-handed over-the-head throw, she's really kind of dialed it in. And as you can see, going into the turn, she has a 24-23 lead over Leroy Kedley.
Well, this is why they play the games. Don't let the records fool you. Nancy Kramer can compete with anyone in this league, and she is giving Leroy Kedley all he can handle right now.
No, it's just holding on to the axe just a little bit too long there, and Leroy able to take full advantage, 29-26, going into the 7th throw. But for Nancy, she's got 4 throws left. She's only down by 3. She just needs to erase that last throw, focus up in the middle of the board.
Yeah, sometimes just switching sides can take all the momentum away.
Correct.
Nancy Kramer was rolling along, and then that 2 got away from her. But better throw there. It's a 4, and a 4-point lead now for Leroy Kedley.
Yeah, so Leroy sticking to the middle of the board, really putting some pressure on Nancy Kramer. Another nice throw there. Looks like that's going to be a 5.
5-5.
And it looks like that's going to be a 5 there from Nancy Kramer, popping through on the left-hand side. Nancy rushing up to get that blade just in case it wasn't, but that was the call, and you'll take your points.
So Nancy Kramer down by 4. She could really use a bullseye here.
Looks like that's going to be possibly a 4 there for Leroy, but ruled a 5, so 5-4.
39-44, 10th throw.
So I'd love to see Nancy go up here. Leroy's going up. We'll see if Kramer does as well. Why not?
So Leroy is going up. If he hits the bullseye, obviously the game's over. But if he misses and Nancy hits a 5, we're going into sudden death, Joey, and we're very close.
Right, so
I don't think Leroy hit the kill shot, but ruled a 5. So we are going into sudden death, and you can see Leroy hanging his head a little bit. Nancy did everything she needed to do, and Leroy could not hit that kill shot.
So now they'll go for 3 kill shots here.
Yeah, the new kill shot rules. They'll be going for a kill shot here. If one hits and the other one misses, then the game is over. But if they both miss, they have to move on to another kill shot. So both off the mark on their first attempt. And by the time they get to the 3rd attempt, Joey, it is whoever is closest if either competitor did not hit the kill shot.
Kedley closer on his first one. We'll see if he can hone in. That one might have hit.
Well, we're going to have to get a closer look here, but that's very close for Nancy as well. And if they both hit, we go to the 3rd kill shot here. It's a huge ruling here for Eric the Scope.
That's a miss. Go look, he's so close.
Nancy Kramer can't believe it.
Very close.
She can't believe it. I mean, you come that close, and Nancy Kramer falls to Leroy Kedley. 44-44. What a tremendous matchup. As you can see there, Joey, Leroy Kedley was very aggressive going for that kill shot there on his 10th throw. He left the door open for Nancy Kramer. Kudos to her. She threw a tremendous matchup. She hit that shot when she needed to send this thing into sudden death. And she was very, very close on that 2nd kill shot attempt, but elected not to get a second opinion. And but for Leroy Kedley, he did get stuck a little bit in that vortex from that 2 to the 4th throw. But fortunately for him, he was able to escape the victory. But these are the kind of matches, Joey, that you really want to have to prime yourself for the tournament.
Yeah, Leroy got hot when he needed to, and it was great to see him be aggressive there on the final throw. Leroy, one of the least aggressive players in recent years, but he's really starting to get a little more aggressive, and that could pay big dividends as he looks to win a championship for the first time. Well, a lot of progression has taken place for so many of these competitors throughout their Battle Axe careers. Let's throw it down to Zach Hinkle for an interview on his progress as a thrower.
Progression is definitely there. It's just consistency now, man. So it's like, rinse, repeat. You got to just keep on doing it. Like I said, as soon as I'm getting those bullseyes down the middle, I think I hit 8 or something of them in the last game. So I got all the 5s. But it's when you go to the outside. So that's where the next skill level needs to come in. It needs to be, okay, I can hit the middle 8 out of 9 times. Got to go to get that perfect score. Still, the goal is perfect score, man. 64.
Yeah, and that's so hard to do.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to just hit them all in the middle, but ever since the rules changed and we move the bullseyes outside, it's rare that we see a score in the 60s. Zach Hinkle will be taking on the defending champion, Eric the Scope Shizzle.
Yeah, even for the top competitors in this league, it's all about approach. And, we've seen Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. We've seen Beth Jen in other leagues be aggressive going for those outside kill shots. Eric, of course, is one of those aggressive players as well, but to put it all together for 10 throws is so difficult. And not only worrying about your throw, but worrying about what your opponent's doing. But for Zach, he's made a tremendous strides to live in the middle of that board. We know what his goal is. He wants a perfect score. He wants that cup.
Well, there will be no perfect score here already. A shaky start for Hinkle and a shaky start for the defending champ as well.
Yeah, another 4 there for Eric the Scope. In his previous matchup, he had 6 4s in his scorecard, something very uncharacteristic for the Scope. And he starts off this match with a couple. Looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Zach Hinkle. Oh, and it's ruled a 5 there for Eric the Scope, but I think as he gets closer, yeah, he's going to see that that's a 4.
So Shizzle and Hinkle stuck in the vortex. A 1-point lead after 3 throws for the defending champion.
And for Eric, you know, he started off his first matchup with 2 just beautiful throws. And then everything has kind of fallen off the rails a little bit ever since then. So for him, I'm sure he would love just to have even a 5 at this point, you know, just to get out of the vortex. All that being said, though, Joey, it's still a 16-16 game going into the 5th throw.
4 straight 4s from Shizzle. Hinkle with the first 5 of the match to take the lead. Sometimes it's kind of like basketball. You just got to see that ball go through the hoop, and then you can start getting hot.
It looks like that's going to be at least a 5 and ruled a bullseye there. So Eric gets off the schneid there. And, of course, as we've seen many, many times, Joey, you hit your first bullseye, and then you have to switch sides and start all over again.
So we'll see if Eric Shizzle can carry the momentum into the second half. He's up by 2 here over Zach Hinkle.
And for Zach, he's definitely not living in that 5 and 6 ring like we saw in his first matchup. All these 4s, though, they're not that far off. You know, both those throws right there are a great example. Very close to being a 5.
Throw number 7.
These players are within the realm of getting into that 5 and 6 ring. There's a very slight adjustment that they have to make.
4 throws to go. This one's still up for grabs. Just a 2-point lead for the defending champion, Eric the Scope Shizzle.
It looks like that's going to be a 5, possibly a bullseye if it's popping in the right-hand side, but ruled a 5. We'll see if Eric wants to get a second look, and he does not and elects to take his 5, but up 28-31 with 3 throws to go.
Zach Hinkle needs a bullseye.
Ooh, it's very close, Joey. We'll see if it's popping through on the top left-hand part of that blade. Eric resets his throw. And with ice in his veins, it looks like that's going to be a bullseye, at least for Justin. And Michelle's going to get a closer look if it's popping there on the right-hand side. And
so Zach Hinkle did what he had to do, and the Scope had the answer. That keeps it a 3-point lead for the defending champion, and he is going up for the kill shot. Love how aggressive Eric the Scope is.
Yep, he's going up. And Zach with a surprise kill shot attempt. Might as well in the position that he's in. Can really turn the tide of this game if he can hit the kill shot and Eric the Scope misses. Oh, and Zach is just a bit outside. And it looks like that could be possibly popping through the top part of that blade, but ruled a miss. Eric's going to get a closer look, but I think I saw from the action cam there, Joey, was a little bit of wood popping through.
All right, guys. Eric,
and
you're up by 3,
they're going up again. So
once
once again, it's going to come down to a kill shot here. If the Scope hits it, it's over. If he misses, then Hinkle can win it with a hit.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, this is the kind of tournament play that we're getting ready for. Zach's well aware that he needs to get comfortable with those kill shots. He is off the mark there on his throw. You can see he's a little dejected. And Eric the Scope is off the mark as well. But those are the kind of throws, Joey, that players need to get comfortable with in the regular season because we know they're going to need them come tournament time.
And it sure makes for some fun viewing here on Battle Axe. Eric the Scope getting the win.
Yeah, 34-37. Don't let the score fool you. Both these competitors were in this game the entire time. Zach was just unable to take advantage of Eric's mistakes. And kudos to Eric. You know, he got stuck in the vortex to start this match, but he did have 2 bullseyes there on his 5th and 8th throw. Classically going for the kill shot there on his 9th and 10th throw. He left the door open for Zach Hinkle to come back if he would have hit it, but Zach unfortunately could not hit the kill shot, so he will fall to 7-7 with a score of 34, just a little off of his first match of the night. with a score of 50. But for him, it's about living in the middle of that board, being consistent. And then for Eric, he's just got to kind of figure out his throw because right now, this is not the scope that we're used to seeing.
Couple matches still to go here in week number 4. We'll bring them to you straight ahead here on Battle Axe. Stay tuned to MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bustin' Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Dania alongside Bobby Bradford. We are wrapping things up here in week number 4 of a 7-week regular season as we get ready to crown another Battle Axe champion with a double elimination postseason tournament. But first, we've got to finish things up in week number 4 here. Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley will be taking on Michelle Frummelt.
Yeah, so we saw Michelle go up against Ann Welp in the first match of her night, and she came out the victor 44-36. And then we saw Leroy go up against Nancy Kramer in a nail-biter, sudden death. That Leroy was able to hit a kill shot on his second sudden death attempt. A couple fours by both competitors to get the night started.
Yeah, we've seen a new Leroy Kedley this season. He used to be very conservative. Now he's a little more aggressive, and it's fun to watch, and he's elevated his game as well. He is second in the standings, just nipping at the heels of Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw.
And ruled a 5 there for Michelle, and it's very close to being a 5 there for Leroy Kedley. We're going to have to get a closer look here. Oh, and I don't think it's popping through the left-hand side. It looks like Kedley's going to come up and try to get a closer look here. Oh, and Leroy's going to be calling for a second. So I believe it was initially ruled a 4. And Leroy wants to get a closer look, so Zach Hinkle's going to be coming up.
And so ultimately it's up to Zach Hinkle here. Whatever he calls will stand.
And it looks like he called a 5, so Leroy able to get that blade to pop through on the left-hand side to just see a little bit of that wood to make it a 5. We'll see if that's a throw that'll come back to benefit Leroy Kedley. Ooh, and there's a wobbly axe there for Michelle. That's something we don't want to see.
Bullseye.
But a couple bullseyes nonetheless.
So 15 all after 3 throws here between Leroy Kedley and Michelle Frummelt. They can no longer score 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see if Kedley gets aggressive.
Looks like another, that could be a 4 there for Michelle and a 5 there for Leroy. But
Cody Yoakum's going to see if it's a 5.
Oh, it's very tough to see. And ruled a 4 there for Michelle. See if she wants to get a second to keep pace with Leroy Kedley, but elects not to and grabs her axe and goes back to the line.
Leroy's up by 1.
But some really high-pressure throws to get this match started here for both competitors. Another nice bullseye there, or 5 there for Leroy, and a 5 there for Michelle.
All right.
So Leroy Kedley leading 25-24 after the first half.
Yes, a really impressive score here for both competitors. On pace for high 40s, low 50s. We'll see if they can keep that pace for the next 5 throws. It looks like that's going to be a couple 4s if it's not popping through the left-hand side there for Leroy.
And it is. So still a 1-point lead for Kedley. 4 throws to go. Saw a little wobble in that axe for Michelle Frummelt.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to see that. That's what leads to drops. That's another nice throw there by Leroy. That could be a bullseye if it's popping through in the bottom part of that blade on the right-hand side. But ruled a 5. We'll see if Leroy agrees or not. It looks like he does. So he'll take a 34-32 lead going into the 8th throw.
Throw 8. Leroy's up by 2.
And for Michelle, she's still in this game. She just has to focus up if she would love to find that bullseye. And it looks like Leroy might have found it first.
5 Michelle, bullseye Leroy.
So yeah, nice throw from Frummelt, but a better throw from Kedley. A bullseye extends his lead to 3.
Leroy's up by 3.
She's still within kill shot range. You know, she's been trading points with Leroy quite a bit, so I don't think she needs to go for a kill shot here in the 9th throw. It looks like that could be a couple 4s, and ruled a 5 there for Michelle, so she's able to pick up a point.
Well, that makes things a little more interesting here for the final throw. We'll see if Frummelt goes up for the kill shot. She's not going to.
She just called for it.
All right, I stand corrected. This is going to be fun.
And Leroy plays the middle of the board. It looks like that could be a 5 if it's popping
So
through the
she'll win it
left-hand.
if she can hit it off the mark.
Very close. Cody's going to get a closer look just to see.
5, Leroy.
And ruled a miss there from Michelle, but love the aggressive call.
Well, it all came down to the final kill shot once again.
That's worse.
It's been an exciting week number
Leroy
4.
takes that.
Leroy
49.
Kedley with another victory.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of caliber of matches that we're going to get when these players have been really working on their game and honing in their throws. You know, these games, we always talk about them coming down to one throw, and when the throw can come down to a kill shot attempt, it just makes it that much more exciting. And fortunately for us and the viewers at home, we were able to get a match that came down to the kill shot here. Michelle being really aggressive, down by 2. She was off by just a little bit, would have come out the victor had she hit it, but just a tremendous matchup by both these competitors. As you can see there, only 3 4s there on Leroy's card, and 4 4s, excuse me, there for Michelle Fremelt. But a really nice score of 42. She falls to 5 and 9, but this is the kind of matchup that she wants to have going into the tournament. And Leroy improves his record to 12 and 2.
One more match still to go. Justin Smith will be taking on Cody Yoakum.
Yeah, so another great matchup here between two competitors. We saw Cody Yoakum at the beginning of the night beat Bob Yoakum 43-37 to improve his record to 12 and 1. And then we saw Justin defeat Eric the Scope Shizzle 44-35
Yeah,
to improve his record to 8 and 5.
Smith got really hot in the second half of that match. We'll see if he brings that momentum into this one.
Unfortunately for him, though, that axe sailing again. We saw his axe sail a little bit in his matchup with Eric the Scope. Fortunately for him, in that matchup, those are 4s. And fortunately for him, after that first throw, that was a 3. You can see Justin kind of looking at his axe, telling him, well, you don't want any more of those. Looks like that's going to be a 4 there, and a 4 for Cody as well.
And this is what we saw from Justin Smith in his last match, a slow start.
Right.
And then he turned it on. We'll see if he
Throw number
can
3.
replicate that
Cody,
success.
you're up by 2.
Well, you'd always love to come out of the gate hot. But, you know, if you can come away with the victory, it doesn't really matter when you get hot. That's a nice throw there by Cody Yoakum. Looks like that's going to be a bullseye. Justin's going to really want this to be a 5.
5 and
And
bullseye.
ruled a 5. So popping through the top part of that blade there for Justin Smith.
So
Turn
Cody
number 4.
Yoakum can
Cody,
no
you're now
longer
up by
score
3.
6 on the center bullseye in the first half. We'll see if he gets aggressive.
We'll see if he starts going for those outside bullseyes. Justin's still throwing consistently in those 4s, and he was
4.
going for that top left-hand bullseye there. But again, when you're getting aggressive going for those outside bullseyes, you definitely
5.
want to miss on the 4 side of the ring. Those 3s can be devastating. 4s you can keep pace with. And there's a nice throw there by Justin. And just right on cue there,
Next 3.
Cody is off the mark. Hits a 3 while Justin hits a 6 to able to tie this thing
At
up.
the turn, that ties
22-22
us up,
going into the
22 to
turn.
22.
Smith and Yoakum switch sides. It'll come down to these final 5 throws in the second half, unless we have sudden death.
Well, that's what I love about these new rules, Joe. You know, it looked like Cody was having a commanding lead. He got aggressive going for those outside
4 or
bullseyes.
5.
Left the door open for Justin Smith to come in with nice, consistent throws.
Throw number 7.
But again, if Cody
Justin,
hits
you are
those
now up by
bullseyes,
1.
he just increases his lead, increases the margin that Justin has to make up, forcing his hand. That's a nice throw there by Justin. That could be a bullseye, and it could be a 5 there
6.
for Cody.
Well, just like that, Justin Smith has a 2-point lead now.
Throw number 8.
And for Cody to be aggressive for those outside bullseyes, he has to hit that middle bullseye first. And he's been off the mark in the first 2 throws since the turn. Justin happy to find his rhythm
4 or 5.
in that middle 5 and 6 ring.
So this one's starting to get away from Cody
number
Yoakum.
9,
He's now
Justin,
down
you're
by
up by
3 with 2 throws to go. He needs a bullseye badly here.
And we've seen Cody Yoakum start to adopt the kill shot as well. So if anything, he wants to keep pace here with Justin. And Justin makes a huge mistake there. Looks like that's going to be a 3 and possibly a 5, maybe a bullseye there for Cody
Got
Yoakum.
5 and a 3.
Well, that was just what Cody Yoakum needed.
That's absolutely what
throw,
Cody
Justin,
Yoakum
you are
needed.
up by
Justin holding
1.
on to the axe just a little bit too long for a devastating 3 on his 9th throw.
And with Cody Yoakum still able to get 6 on the center bullseye, that's all he needs to do here to force sudden death or get the win.
Ooh, it's going to be very
5
close.
and
If it's popping in the right-hand side, we are going to be going to sudden death.
A crucial ruling coming here from Michelle Fremelt.
You can see, I think it's popping through on the right-hand side. I think Michelle's getting a official ruling here if it's popping through on the actual black outline. So Eric the Scope's going to be coming in to take a look here. And I think it's going to be ruled a bullseye, and it is.
Well, we are going to sudden death here in the final matchup of week number 4. Justin Smith and Cody Yoakum are going to go up for the kill shots. And, of course, if one of them hits it and the other one doesn't, it's over. If they both miss or they both hit it, they throw a second kill shot until we get to a third kill shot, and then it's who's ever closest.
Yeah, so just a tremendous high-pressure throw there by Cody Yoakum, sneaking into sudden death by the skin of his teeth, but it looks like a 6 on the scoreboard no matter what, Joey. And it looks like he's off the mark a little left there. We'll see if Justin can put this thing away. Going for the lower right-hand side bullseye. Bit of an interesting tactic.
So we are going to kill shot attempt number 2 here from Smith and Yoakum.
So both lining up for a kill shot attempt here. It looks like Justin is off the mark a little high left. And, ooh, Cody is very close. And so this next throw, Joey, will be whoever is closest or who hits it and the other opponent does not.
Cody Yoakum missing by a matter of centimeters.
Yeah,
we'll see if he can stick another one right there.
Yeah, he was very close to putting this thing away. We'll have to see there from the action cam. Looks like Cody is off the mark, but we'll have to get a closer look here from Justin's because he might be popping through in the bottom part of that blade.
He's in there. That's a hit.
And he did.
Justin's going to take that one.
Wow, what a comeback.
46.
Justin Smith with another comeback victory here in sudden death over Cody Yoakum. What a way to wrap up another great week of competition.
Yeah, Justin Smith was able to hit that kill shot there on the third attempt, the bottom part of that blade popping through on that lower right-hand kill shot. And for him, just like his first matchup, he was able to turn it on, from the third throw on. He did have that devastating 3 on that 9th throw that let Cody Yoakum come back in this game. And kudos to Cody Yoakum. He threw that high-pressure 6 when he needed to the most. But these are the kind of matches, Joey, that championships are made of. And so this is really good for Justin Smith to get one of these under his belt to improve his record to 9-5. And then for Cody Yoakum, he does fall to 12-2, but another nice score of 46. He did have that 1-3 on his 5th throw, but he is a dangerous competitor, and we know he desperately wants to take home that Bustin' Axe World Championship Cup.
Well, before we say farewell here from the Bustin' Axe throwing range, it's time for our post-game wrap-up.
Yeah, so we'll see how this exciting week is shaped out. The end of week 4. Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw still at the top of the leaderboard at an impressive 16-0, but as you can see, Joey, only 3 points behind him is Leroy Kedley at 743 points. So a tremendous run here for Leroy Kedley. And behind him is Cody Yoakum at 13-3, Justin Smith at 10-16, Zach Hinkle, Jill Kedley, Eric Shizzle, Michelle Fremelt, Ann Welp, and Bob Yoakum round up the top 10. You can see there, Joey, from all the scores, all these competitors are putting up some really impressive points, and anyone can take home this cup.
Can't wait. It's just right around the corner, that double elimination postseason tournament. That's going to do it for this episode of Battle Axe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on MC22.